All right, all right, all right. Welcome to yet another edition of the New York Power Hour here on Best Damn Sports. You got your host tonight, Ash. You got Peter. You got, I guess I should call him Baby Squid, not Peter. But we've got the Prince Man himself, Ram. We've got Luke, not Jeff. So we've got a full house tonight, and there's a lot to talk about. As you know, the Giants just fired Brian Daboll this week. The Rangers just had a big win tonight for New York Rangers, getting back. There's I can't talk. I can't talk. The Rangers
You're
are now
so excited.
slotted.
You're so excited for New York sports. Like
I
you've been
know
out
the New
the
York
past.
Rangers are slotted into the first wild card officially now with that win tonight. And then you've got the Islanders 1 point back of the second wild card. So what is going on with the New York hockey scene? The Knicks laid an egg tonight against the Magic. I don't even know what the heck that was about. I tried to watch the fourth quarter, and it was just depressing to watch, so I had to turn it off. But anyways, how are we doing, guys? What do you got to talk about?
I think we got a lot to talk about in this
We
episode.
we
It
we
sounds
have
like
a
it.
lot.
We've got a
I'm
packed
down.
schedule.
I'm down with kicking off with talking about the Brian Daboll firing, just because it kind of came a little bit out of left field. Not to say
Yeah, I
that
was
I should
totally
be
surprised.
right. Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Oh no, why would they fire Brian Daboll? He's doing a great job." No, I mean they were 20
But
and
why
40.
now? That's my thing.
That's what I think is kind of
Like,
the rough
you
one.
wouldn't
I mean,
expect him to go anywhere.
I think the now definitely makes sense. And you talk about
No.
it. No, but I think you talk about it in previous years, right? And everyone talks about, why wait until the end of the season, right? Like if there's someone out there that the Giants want as their head coach, they're first in line right now to go get that guy, right? Like the team's not going to drastically change from this season to next season, right? You have your quarterback, you're going to have your running back.
Go after them though, because they're in the middle of their seasons.
Yeah, but I'm just saying someone that might not currently be on a team, currently might not be coaching, and is out there.
I guess that's fair.
Maybe he's down in North Carolina right now. Like maybe he's just not
He's
enjoying.
coaching.
Maybe he's not enjoying college football right now and wants to get back in the NFL. Maybe that's someone that they're trying to get. Maybe they're trying to get ahead of everyone else.
Belichick's not going to the Giants.
He might. He loves the Giants.
He loves the Giants, and I think he wants to break a couple
Be
records.
careful what you wish for, though, because you remember how bad he was with the Browns.
I
And now
don't
he's
think it'd be
bad
a good
with North
idea.
Carolina.
I don't think it would be a good idea, but I
I
can see
never
them
thought I
doing
had
it.
anything in common with Belichick, but apparently we both share a disdain for college sports, and we both like young women. So there's that. That's cool. But putting that aside, I do think it's an interesting one here because there's so many weird things coming right off the jump of the going at hello strangers out there. The right off the jump of the firing, right? I mean, we saw the announcement for the Giants that the Jameson Winston is actually going to be the starting quarterback this week, right? Now, we know, I believe Dart has a concussion. Russell Wilson has looked at times that have not been against the Dallas Cowboys like a very aged and struggling quarterback. So at the end of the day, I don't know if that was part of it. There was talk about the fact that they said there was a little controversy on elevating Jameis Winston. A lot of people thought that we might see Russell, Jameson, and then Jaxson Dart. That maybe I thought we saw Jaxson Dart early, although at the end of the day, the results show that it was fine. He was ready to start, and he's a good quarterback, right? But at the end of the day, it's kind of a tough one because there was a lot of recklessness used in terms of the handling of Dart and Scatabo, and kind of it felt like Daboll was playing to save his job. And we joke about it, like we talked about the fact that there's a reckless style of football with Dart and Scatabo, but at the end of the day, these are their rookie years, right? And they're already sustaining some pretty heavy injuries. We got to be real about it. And there might be some logic there that says, hey, at the end of the day, this is a little bit scarcesome. Like maybe we're not making the playoffs this season. We don't need to be rushing Jaxson Dart back after concussions. We don't need to be rushing Scatabo back. We have to go ahead and try to move forward as a team. We don't even have neighbors this year, right? So I don't know what's going on in the back end of what's going on with the Giants, but I do think it's a tough one because there's also a lot of we have some blown leads. I mean, that Denver game they ended up losing earlier this year. There's a lot going on with Daboll that one might say, okay, at the end of the day, this is not the guy. They clearly don't feel like this is the guy that they want to put the train behind. I don't know if there's anyone out there that they want right now. I know you're making jokes, Luke, but I think people were saying like Mike McCarthy is the top guy that's supposed to get the job. I don't know why Mike McCarthy keeps getting jobs. I just don't. I'm not trying to be a dick, but like it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't think he's earned anything that makes me think he's going to handle the Dart situation better. I think that at the end of the day, you have your quarterback, you have your running back, you have your wide receiver one for next year. Mike Kafka, I think, has taken over. I just don't know. I mean, I guess firing him now doesn't necessarily make a big dent in the sense that they weren't going to make a big difference if Jaxson Dart wasn't going to play much the rest of the year. I got to be real, right? The Giants were elevated by the fact that Jaxson Dart came in. So we don't know what the hell is going to happen. But Daboll just never felt like he figured it out here with the Giants at any time. I mean, yes, there was some success with Daniel Jones and stuff like that. But again, the full record, it was 20-40 and 1. Right?
And that's winning 9 games in 2022.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean,
the year that year, right?
Right. They call it lightning in the bottle in 2022. And then after that, it's just, I mean, the train went right off the rails. So most of the record is made up of 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, all absolute disasters.
I just don't think that, I mean, nobody came into this season expecting the Giants to be any good this year. So I just feel like if you bring Brian Daboll back for this year, they're not disappointing according to their expectations right now. So like, why are you making the move now? Like I get there's coaches that are unemployed that you might want to go ahead and start the process with, but I just don't, I don't know. To me, it's weird. There were no expectations on this season. So you might as well just go ride out the remainder of the year and then just move on after the season. As far as Mike McCarthy's concerned, I feel like he would just be their transition coach because they're not going to compete next year either. So he's just going to be that guy that would bridge the gap if they were to hire him. So
I mean, well, they could compete next year. I mean, we've seen the NFL; it just takes a quarterback to turn it around. So if Jaxson Dart, is playing as well as has been in his rookie year, and the Giants stay healthy, if they add to that defense, there's no reason they couldn't compete. Now, obviously, they're just rumors, and I take these with a big pinch of salt. But like, apparently, the GM did not want to draft Dart, and Daboll did. So that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with that moving forward. I do think that anybody that has half of football brain understands that Jaxson Dart is a good quarterback. The question is going to be, and these were the same questions we had in college, is his playing style going to lead to him being on the field? That's so far it hasn't. You could blame some of that. You might put on Daboll. The game was pretty much out of hand, and they kept him in there for really no reason.
Well, other than he's a rookie quarterback and needs to get snaps.
Yeah, but when your quarterback already plays recklessly, I don't know. The risk isn't worth the reward there, in my opinion, and it proved.
I do think you have to start worrying. I mean, because this is what, 4 concussions now or 3?
For Jaxson?
He's been in concussion protocol, I should say.
Twice.
3 or 4 times.
I want to say twice.
I think it's what I will also say though is that although it became kind of the subject of a meme, that whole Daboll running into the tent thing and like yelling at the team doctors actually prompted an investigation because they're very big on like, at least to the public eye, trying to say like, hey, at the end of the day, you don't want to interfere with the concussion protocol. Right. And so it was kind of funny where it was like Daboll's like running in to see if everything's okay. And they're like, you need to get the fuck out. Like it actually is a huge problem. And so there's a lot of things. I mean, John Mara had said going into this year, the Giants needed to improve significantly for Daboll to keep his job. And I felt like he was taking a lot of things with that in mind. It definitely felt like there was a Daboll coaching towards Daboll trying to save his job thing and not necessarily long-term for the Giants. Now, did it give us the fact that we could see Jaxson Dart early and figure things out? Yes, but I mean, there's still about, good 6-7 weeks left in the season, right? If Dart, the way that he plays, considering the fact that he's a bit of a high impact, high octane player, if he's to sustain another concussion or he's to get into concussion protocol for like the third time this season, right? And that's supposed to be your franchise quarterback. There is reason for worry. There's reason that guys like even Lamar and Josh Allen have been kind of coached to not run as much. I know that there is excitement around mobile quarterbacks, right? But even you look at Jaden Daniels this year, and a lot of criticism went on the Jaden Daniels situation of the Commanders just saying, hey, like, screw it. Like, we're just letting him go out there. And now he's hurt again, right? And it feels like it's an RG4 situation because they wanted to do the sequel to RG3 and get him hurt too. So I don't know exactly what the coaching might be or what they're going to do. If they might turn around and say, hey, we're going to let Jameis Winston kind of finish out the year, because what the hell are you going to do without Scadaboo and Neighbors, right? I mean, you're not making the playoffs, and if you do, you're not winning. So why are you going to send Jaxson Dart out there to get hurt as much again? They might just keep him let him play a little bit, but if they do, they might change the style. I don't think Kafka's going to be a guy that they're really looking at long-term. The Giants are a big enough franchise. They're probably going to swing for a bigger name. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting. I do think some of it had to do with just at the end of the day, it felt like Daboll was coaching for him and not for long-term for the Giants, not for long-term for Dart or for Scadaboo, and that's where we're at. And they cut him now. They said, screw it, it's fine. We're sending Jameson Winston out there, and that's that. It's just it did feel a little bit out of nowhere. I felt like there were more fireable moments earlier in the season, if I'm being honest.
No, it makes sense for them to go to Winston. I mean, Russ really, besides that one game against Dallas, really hasn't looked good at all. So, Winston's just a fun sling it guy. And you know what? Like you said, their draft position doesn't matter. So just go with the guy that's going to swing it. Let it rip. But as far as the new coach goes, I mean, next year you have Dart as your quarterback, Scadaboo as your running back, and Neighbors as your wide receiver. What coach in the NFL isn't going to want that base of an offense?
With an immense defense as well. I know I've said this a number of times, but
when was your birthday?
My birthday was yesterday. I'm puzzled.
I didn't know this. Happy birthday!
Thank you. My birthday was.
It's on my tagline. It's there.
Oh, I missed. I don't even pay attention to those all the time. So.
Oh, that's take note of that. That he doesn't.
I know he doesn't because of the things I put on there. Yes, my birthday was yesterday.
We'll just do that.
Happy birthday, Ram. Happy birthday, buddy.
Wow, you take all the creativity away from us.
Yes, I don't even know who that is, which is why I'm actually even further amused. That's where my face. I was looking at notes on the Giants stuff, and I heard you guys laughing. I'm like, "What happened?" And I pop over, and I'm like, "Jesus Christ!" Man.
You have a secret admirer, Ram. It's all the ladies. All the ladies love Ram.
Why wouldn't they? Come on now.
All the ladies love Ram. Look at that. Look at that handsome guy. Look at that jawline.
None of this. You do want to speak on the jawline. I can say that much.
But
no, yeah, I agree with you as to what you're saying as to the fact on the Giants.
You have a great jawline, yes.
No, I'm neutral on that thought. But it's definitely a situation where I do think it's desirable for the Giants to have somebody come in and coach this team. At the end of the day, what's also interesting, Schoen, the GM who took over, came over at the same time as Daboll. And, you're not really often firing the GM middle of the season. So I feel like this offseason is make or break for him too.
Yeah, no, so just a couple things on the Brian Daboll stuff. If Jaxson Dart is healthy, he's going to play quarterback. You can't hide him. You can't keep him out because you're afraid he's going to get hurt. He's got to learn how to play NFL football, and the only way he's going to do that is by playing in games. So Jaxson Dart is going to start football games when he's healthy. Ash, to your point, yeah, there weren't a lot of expectations for the New York Giants this season, but I think once you bring in Jaxson Dart and you see the excitement around the team, there started to become expectations. And when you start losing games the way the Giants were losing games, it wasn't like they were getting blown out 30-10. They totally blew the lead against the Broncos. I think that was probably the worst fourth quarter we've ever seen in football. They blew the lead against Chicago. They lost against the Saints, which, sorry, Ram, but the Saints are a team that the Giants
shouldn't have lost against the Saints. No, it's correct. They shouldn't have lost. And on top of that, too, some of these games, you had Dart in there way later than needed to. I mean, I think it was the Eagles game where they were down well over 3 touchdowns, right? And Dart was still taking shots to the dome. And this was not a winnable game. It was like a minute left in the third, and they were down 3 touchdowns. And I forgot what game it was, but Dart's still in there taking shots to the dome. That's not good. So, I mean, there is enough that I can understand if they're like, look, we're fine. We're not doing this with Daboll. I do think that it'll be interesting going forward. I'm going to agree with the both of you, though, Peter and Luke, in the sense that there are going to be expectations now because we've seen what this team can do in limited form. And so in another offseason, knowing a little bit of what you have in Dart and Scadaboo and knowing that Neighbors is a top wide receiver in this league, and the fact that, if we're being honest, the NFC East is by no means a guaranteed division. I mean, the Eagles have a lot of talent, but their play calling is in the garbage bin. Yeah. So they're struggling. AJ Brown went on a Madden stream and said, hey, if you have me in fantasy, trade me. And then went on to play, and this is hilarious, he went on to play the game in Madden and targeted himself 10 times and targeted Devonta Smith once. The other target was to Johan Dotson. So I thought it was great. It's like, yeah, he just played Madden, dominated, targeting himself. I'm like, this feels fair. Wide receivers have amazing egos. But he said, yeah, if you have me in fantasy, trade me, that I'm not worth the have. So the Eagles are doing their thing. Jaden Daniels, who I think is outstanding, is constantly going to be in the storm of injury, and the Commanders don't look like they know what they're doing, right? And so
it's the NFC East, right? Like no one has won back-to-back division in, I don't know, I couldn't even remember, but I think the Eagles have the opportunity to do it this year. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's total pandemonium in the NFC East. Anyone can rise to the top any season. And like I said, I think this was the right move for the Giants. I think this was the right move. Get ahead on the coaching carousel. Start scouting out who you guys want. I have to imagine a couple of names. Probably Cliff Kingsbury's probably going to be in the mix. I'd probably hear Brian Flores out of Minnesota. I'll throw one more name out there, and this one's going to kind of be crazy, but I mean, what if they pulled Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss? Like, he's coached in the NFL. He's coached in the NFL before. He's coached Jaxson Dart. He's had so much success in Oxford. I mean, what if they pulled him up to New York?
How much did how much NIT money did Ole Miss give you to wear the shirt and say that on the stream?
I don't think they would want me to say that. Like, Ole Miss loves Lane Kiffin, and they don't want giving him any ideas of leaving.
They just ponied more money up for him too.
Yeah.
I don't think Lane's leaving. But,
no, I don't think he's leaving either. But I'm sure you're going to hear that, a bunch of talking heads about, maybe Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss and goes to the Giants to coach.
Yeah, some guys are even throwing out names like Bill Belichick and stuff like that. It doesn't mean they're relevant. It doesn't mean that those names make sense for the Giants.
Yeah, let's get Chucky back out there.
I'm not a.
If we're going the college coach route, what about like a Lincoln Riley?
I don't think Lincoln Riley leaves USC. I think he's getting paid way too much money to be at USC.
Hey, if we're talking about college coaches with NFL experience, let's just throw Greg Schiano's name in the mix. Why not? No, don't do that.
And the crowd goes mild.
I can no longer contribute to the conversation because we're beyond like the 3 college coaches that I know. So we're kind of boned here.
That's
so
okay.
I can just move on. I can move on to the Jets if anything, because they
won. Did you guys think they won another game?
They can't even get the number 1 pick right.
Come on. Listen.
If there's any organization that's more incompetent than the Jets, and believe me, that's really, really hard bar to clear, because the Jets might be one of the most, if not the most incompetent organization in all of professional major sports. Cleveland Browns will always come in. If you're worried about your team, the Cleveland Browns will come in and tell you, don't worry, we're bigger fuck-ups than you. We have no idea what we're doing. And I hate it because I saw that game on the schedule, and I'm like, man, if the Jets could find a way to just they're going to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat against anybody, it's going to be against the Browns. And it was against the Browns.
And it was the most hilarious win Like there's 2 returns. Fields again threw for what, like 50 yards. That
I'm
might be
gonna
generous.
bring that up in a moment just to show people the stat line, because like it might have been one of the worst stat lines that I've seen in a winning football performance.
Mm-hmm.
But
listen, I know last week I was all, I didn't like that the Jets won, draft position, burr. At this point, you've won 2 games. You've already fucked it up. I'm full on the bandwagon. Let's go. 10-7, baby. We're winning out the rest of the year. We're gonna stomp the Patriots on Thursday. Fucking hate those bastards. But the biggest story of all, and I think honestly the Jets did a service to America. The New York Football Jets are now 2-0 against the state of Ohio. So that's just really, we're just really doing the Lord's work out there for everybody.
I mean, if you looked at this, like, and you told me that the team on the right was the team that won, right? It's kind of just, it's one of those things where Justin Fields was 6 for 11 with 54 passing yards, a touchdown and interception. Leading rusher Breece Hall, 21 carries for 83 yards. Leading receiver Breece Hall, 1 reception for 42 yards and a touchdown. The obviously the humor in the fact is that you might sit there and do some math if you dare venture, and you think, wait, if Justin Fields had 54 passing yards and Breece Hall had 1 catch for 42 yards, what does that mean for the rest of the game? And you'd be right. That means outside of that throw, 12 passing yards, folks. 12 passing yards in a winning quarterback performance for the New York Jets.
I'm so glad you guys told me off season how this was going to be exciting football to watch, and he's going to be fun. I'm so excited you guys did that to me.
He was exciting. They won.
Just to jump in real quick.
Winning's exciting for guys like me, Peter. I don't know.
Just to jump in real quick. I know you'll appreciate this, Ram. The Lakers are losing at halftime by 32.
That's pretty sick.
They deserve that. That's what they get. They've had it too good for too long. No, but I will talk about the Knicks later too. But all jokes aside, man, Dylan Gabriel's not the future either. I mean, maybe Shedeur Sanders and maybe another quarterback they're going to take and get another draft. Sure, I don't know, but this was kind of a ridiculous game. I mean, they put out a pretty solid effort. I will say, to this notion, I mean, what I'm overlooking here almost intentionally is the Jets have, not only in this game and statistically, they've built a really strong special teams unit. I mean, and it was skewed by the fact of what happened in this game. But at the end of the day, I mean, the touchdowns came from a punt return and a kick return, and it's only the goddamn Browns, right? But
no, it's still impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's weird. Like historically, obviously the Jets and my fandomship have been dog shit, but historically they've always had really good special teams. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wanna make jokes about it, but at the end of the day, I mean, it was a punt return. It was a punt return touchdown, a kick return touchdown, back to back within the same quarter. I mean, the Jets led after the first quarter, they were leading 14-7 because of these touchdowns. Kick return and punt return touchdowns are not so common in today's age. At the end of the day, statistically, the Jets actually do have a pretty strong special team unit. So kudos to that. I'm going to give them credit for that much because it's not really we don't have much to focus on positive in terms of the Jets, but at the end of the day, the frustration does come from, as Ash mentioned, I mean, they're screwing up the first pick too. This is kind of a pain in the ass. I get torn when looking ahead to Thursday because I never want the Patriots to have anything in life ever. You know, I don't want people who are supporting the Patriots. I don't want the Patriots to win, but I also need the Jets to lose. So I don't really know if there's anything I could see out of Thursday that's going to put me in a good mood at all. Looking ahead to the Jets on Thursday. I hate that it's on Thursday Night Football, but we just watched a primetime game where it was like 3-0 going into the fourth quarter. So I suppose they have a very, very low bar to clear where all they have to do is get something going and they should be fine.
I mean, if they're not careful, they're going to be drafting like 6th or 7th at this rate.
That's
fine. There's so many 2 and 3 win teams.
It doesn't matter. They're going to fuck up the pick anyway. Like, just have fun with it. Listen, no self-respecting New York Jets fan is ever going to look at this game tomorrow and be like, oh, we need to lose to the Patriots. 2 years ago, the Jets beat the Patriots in a meaningless football game, which they swept them for the first time in forever, and that allowed the Patriots to draft Drake May. Still, if you ask me to this day, I would still beat them 10 times out of 10. Hell, I just traded for Drake. I hate the Patriots. I just traded for Drake May. If Drake May breaks both of his arms and his legs tomorrow and the Jets win, I won't care at all. I'll like, let's go Jets. Obviously, I'm not rooting for injuries, but if it happens, I'm not going to be upset.
Obviously, he has to put in the disclaimer.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for the injuries, but if they happen, I'm not gonna cry about it. But no, I don't care about the right. It's Jets Patriots. I don't care about the draft standings. Yes, it's been the most one-sided rivalry probably in sports, but no Jets fan likes the Patriots. They've been a pain in our ass for our entire lives. We've suffered at the hands of them. The one moment we had in 2010 was wonderful, and then they shit the bed the next week against the Steelers. I will always take the Jets beating the Patriots, no matter what implications are.
Yeah, I understand that completely, and I can't tell you otherwise. Like, we should never.
And now you have 3 other first round picks now, so who cares?
For what it's worth, too, this is in reference to what Ash was saying. If they're going to worry about where they pick, because the Browns now own the whatever you call a tiebreaker in these type of reverse standings, the Browns and the Jets and the Raiders and the Dolphins down there, it is very possible that if the Jets screw around and end up winning again, that they could drop all the way to something like 8th. And that would not be good. So it's kind of a tough one, but I'm willing to postpone the draft conversation until after the Jets-Patriots game, because Peter's right. There's no situation where you ever want to lose to the Patriots. So at the end of the day, it's very important that the Jets show up, and maybe they'll do another memorial for Nick Mangold. And I mean that because on Sunday they did the memorial for Nick Mangold, and I sat there opening the game, and I was like, oh no, that
his family was there.
No, that's not a good thing, because the only time the Jets have played well this season was in memory of Nick Mangold. So I'm like, all right, this is like, I love you guys. I love Nick Mangold, but the once was good. You motivated yourselves enough for one very solid win. Thank you.
That's enough slices.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely need the Jets to do New York a solid and help New York's only real football team out this week by beating the Patriots.
They can't help themselves.
Listen, no.
Yeah, we need to address this again. The Bills, I was all Bills, the only New York sports team, until they supported the Toronto Blue Jays. They have lost their right to be a New York team. Go play in Canada. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Actually. They want to be kings of the North. Go further north. Go to Canada and let's actually make this.
We're not advocating for relocating franchises here.
Why not?
At Best Damn Sports.
Luke, unless you have something else to say about the Jets, I'll wrap it up with this. Do you have anything else to say?
I just want to say that the Jets should have traded Breece Hall, and that's it. Thank you.
That's still wrong.
It's still wrong, but that's okay. You're allowed to be wrong. This is what I'll say to end the discussion on the New York Jets. If you weren't with us at 2-7, don't be with us at 10-7. We're going all the way, baby.
If the Jets, I want to see them go 10-7 in my freaking lifetime again. Like, I would just love to see. I mean it. I want to see the Jets be good. You know, like,
remember when they won 11
Chad
games?
Pennington is not walking through that door.
Doesn't matter.
I had that conversation with somebody. They're like, the last quarterback I liked on the Jets was like Chad Pennington, and I'm like, I know. I'm well aware. I was talking to a Jets fan the other day. I'm like,
I can tell you that Mark Sanchez is not walking through that door.
Yeah, no love for stabby big stab guy like Mark Sanchez. He has four road playoff wins in his first 2 years. He beat Philip Rivers in Philip Rivers' house. He beat Carson Palmer in Carson Palmer's house. He beat Peyton Manning in Peyton Manning's house. He beat Tom Brady in Tom Brady's house.
Don't be revisionist. The Jets defense beat Philip Rivers. The Jets defense beat Peyton Manning.
No. Listen, I understand. Listen, you're going to try to tell me that I don't know how the Jets were built. Of course, I know how the Jets are built, but if the team loses, the quarterback is usually what takes the blame.
Right, so, but you watch those teams. You watch those teams. Those were carried by a blitz heavy and a strong like old school football type of.
I understand they were a run for
run the ball down your throats and
first.
blitz the quarterback. It was a real simple formula. It was like me playing Madden, right?
Yeah,
Every now and then,
but how many quarterbacks have you seen throw the ball game away? We just watched a quarterback throw 54 yards, 42 of them in one play. Like, we got to give Sanchez
but that's
some
what
credit.
I'm saying. Nobody's sitting there looking at this Jets-Browns win and going, man, Justin Fields, what a quarterback for unless you're changing your tune on Justin Fields. They're not talking, right? This was a special teams victory. In the same way that those wins for Mark Sanchez, with respect to him so he doesn't stab me, were based on the defense. The Jets defense was he can find a way. But it's definitely, I don't want to be stabbed again. So it's like one of those things where the Jets defense was carrying that. And I like that. I enjoyed the fact that, more than you flip the coin, you could definitely count on the Jets to blitz and hit a quarterback in the mouth. It was good, right? But Mark Sanchez was not the guy you thought was going to lead the Jets to the promised land. You were hopeful that some miracle would happen.
Listen, Mark Sanchez led the game-winning drive against the Colts in the 2010 playoffs. All right? Listen, I understand defense, whatever. But he ran. It was less than a minute. I know it was like 12 years ago. Memory's a little. It was like a minute and a half to a minute. They had like one timeout. He drove down the field, got him in the field goal position.
I agree.
So let's give him a little bit of credit. That's all I'm saying.
I give him the credit of the fact that I watched those Jets teams, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's Mark Sanchez. This is Mark Sanchez. Like,
didn't you know that handoff ability is a stat in Madden? Like, you want to have like a high handoff ability. Like that's what he's so good at. Like, he's just good at handing the ball off.
What he was really good at was those boot runs. He was really good at those.
God help me. All right, let's move on from football because there's nothing else fun to talk about in football right now. Where do we want to go? We can touch on the Knicks for a short second because they laid an egg, if anything, and that can be a quick one. I talked about the fact that I think the Knicks will be fine when everyone is able to contribute, and today was a lot more reminiscent of the Knicks of old, as in like last year, where I saw you message something along the lines, Peter, about the fact that it felt like it was like the Tibbs Knicks because it was pretty much just Brunson showed up. When the Knicks win, they're going to be able to put out an effort that is a lot more well-rounded, and it means everybody scores. Bridges, Jordan Clarkson, Towns, and Anunoby, everyone is contributing. They're not meant to be carried by stars in the sense of Brunson leading the way with like 35 points or something like that anymore. It was just kind of an ass performance because of the fact that otherwise they were 5-0 at home. This is the first home loss. I'm not particularly concerned. I mean, they're 7-4 right now. They look fine. I don't have the stat in front of me, but offensive ratings came out so far for the first 10 games or so through the season. And on the East, the Knicks were actually the best in net rating in the East, which is a great thing to see. On the West, we saw Oklahoma City and the Denver Nuggets, to no surprise of anybody. But I'm still not going to be really talking about stuff until we're, first off, once we're past this stupid NBA Cup bullshit. And then we're a couple months.
Is there a worse idea in sports than the NBA Cup?
Yeah, the Ghost Runner.
There's a lot of pretty bad ideas, yeah. But
the Ghost Runner. It's probably
the Ghost Runner.
Ghost Runner.
Yeah, because why do we not have the automatic runner in the playoffs? They need to institute that.
I don't know what an automatic runner is.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't put a Ghost Runner in during the playoffs.
Yeah, you definitely should because everyone knows everybody knows that extra inning game in the World Series would have been made so much better if you threw a guy at second base and we wouldn't have had that drama.
If we wouldn't have had another 9-inning game, like that would have been awful.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
so you guys get it now.
I'm advocating for actual ghost runners. Like, I think you should just kill the player and then send the ghost of them out there at second base, and then I'd be okay with that. That'd be fine.
I think they should just end the game in a tie. Like, I think they should just say,
end the game in ties and playoff game
in the World Series too. Like, I think
both teams win the World Series.
They should just cut the trophy in half and just say, "Here you go, Toronto. Here you go, Los Angeles. Good job, guys."
Thanks Rob did say,
you know what? Just sit the season out. Just no more games. Just give everybody a trophy and
hey, look, you're gonna get your wish. You're gonna get your wish after this year. We're gonna sit the season out.
It seems like we might have that lockout coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, putting past the NBA Cup and all that, I think when we get to around like midseason, when the Knicks have had about like 35 to 40 games, is when I'm going to be a lot more critical in the sense of, look, Princeton offense, I keep saying it, it's going to be a little hard to adapt. So far, they've been doing good. Today was just a stinker. And it happens. That's why, for the most part, nobody's going 82-0. So it is what it is over there. But again, the Knicks overall, I think, are still looking really strong. Their next game is on the 14th, which I believe is Friday, against the Heat. And it will be on Amazon Prime Video because nobody has a normal way to watch the fucking sports anymore. You have to have 19 streaming
19
services
apps,
to watch. That's a whole rant that I want to go on another day when we're not on the New York thing. But I'm like, I am so annoyed at the fact that like I have to miss regular season games because I'm like, oh, the Knicks are playing on Friday night. If I don't have Prime Video, I can't watch the Knicks at home at Friday because I don't have Amazon Prime's video service, which is stupid. You know, like I had no better time to sail the high seas. But go ahead.
You know, with the Knicks, like I mentioned that we were talking before the show. You know, it did seem like the Tibbs Knicks, but honestly, yeah, I'm not that concerned about it. It's one bad loss. Maybe some of the Rangers stink at home, rubbed up on them. What I'm more concerned about, if anything, was the game before against the Timberwolves, where they had a very big lead, and the second unit kind of gave the game away, and they had to bring the starters back out there to close it out. So out of those two things, I'm a little bit more concerned about the lack of the killer instinct from the second unit.
I think they're still figuring out what their actual second unit is, to be clear. And I feel like they'll be fine in the East. They're going to take some time in almost an arrogant way to figure things out. If you take a look at some of the East, I'm just going to pull it up while we're talking. I do consider the Cleveland Cavaliers a threat. Some people have said, oh, the Pistons have started off really hot. I want to point out to anyone who understands efficiency that the other night the Pistons had Cade Cunningham score 46 points on 45 shots. And I just, if anyone watches ball, you understand exactly what I just said. I mean, he missed over 30 field goals in that game. The Detroit Pistons are not necessarily built to dominate somebody. I respect the talent on the team. I'm not particularly worried. I mean, the East is relatively available for the Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think Donovan Mitchell is having a really, really good start to the year. I was confused because I looked at that and it said 7-1 at home. But yeah, the overall, I'm not particularly threatened by anybody in the East that isn't Cleveland. And that actually might be it, if I'm being sincere. I mean, Milwaukee's a great team because of the fact that they have Giannis, but at the end of the day, I'm looking up and down this lineup, and I'm not really scared if we go another 20, 30 games. I mean, I do not expect the Detroit Pistons to hold an 83% win percentage, over a larger sample size. I can believe that the Cavs can win that many games, but that's about it. I mean, I think they should be fine in the East, so I'm not really panicking. It's okay. Lose a few games, figure out your lineups, figure out your rotation. By midseason, I need to know what you're doing for sure, and then I'll just start making my decisions on whether or not I should start to believe and get myself ready to get hurt again, or if I want to be a doomer and just decide the Knicks aren't doing it this year. But
yeah, shout out to the Boston Celtics, the Indiana Pacers, for both having losing records. You love to see it. Keep up the good work, guys.
I actually very much are enjoying the fact the Pacers are 1-10, and the Brooklyn Nets, which are apparently a basketball team, are also 1-10. So
I don't think we've spoken about the Nets one time on this show.
And that will be the last time we do. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I mentioned them tonight gives them as many mentions as they have wins in the last few months. So I think that's great. We can figure that one out. We can balance it out. If they found another way to win a game at some point, a couple podcasts in, we'll mention the Nets again. And maybe at that point,
we're going to mention the Liberty before we mention the Nets.
I would love to mention the Liberty before the Nets because I want to respect success. And the Nets are a horribly run franchise. So the fact that 1-10, I'm looking at the stats are a little closer, and I'm like, they might have one of the worst points per game in the league. And the Pacers are actually worse, which is even funnier to make that point. But there you go. It's good. We like to see these things happen. So But after one team in MSG to another team in MSG that's having a little bit more success, let's talk about the New York Rangers and the fact that hockey is they're figuring some things out. So, Luke, why don't you leave this one off? Because I know that you're itching to talk about hockey and it gets you all charged up as a man. But what's going on with the Rangers right now, and why should I care?
I don't think you want to know what gets me charged up as a man, but we'll save that for a separate conversation.
Omaha.
Luke Weaver.
Trent Grisham. But yeah. I can't wait. Just a brief aside, I can't wait until Trent Grisham signs in Atlanta and we can get Ash a Trent Grisham Atlanta Braves jersey.
I will buy a Mets jersey and burn every piece of Atlanta Braves gear that I own if Trent Grisham signs in Atlanta.
You heard it here.
You heard it here, everybody.
You can record it and take that to the bank.
That's a non-zero chance of happening, though. There is a non-zero chance that like Grisham signs with the Braves.
And what's the Braves' biggest need this offseason?
Not
Everything.
Trent Grisham.
They need another outfielder, don't they?
I don't know. I think you got Acuna, Harrison, Profar pretty well penciled in.
Profar's not
nobody
a guy.
gets hurt.
Yeah, we'll take Profar any day of the week right now.
You can be pretty reliant on Profar to play like 60 games next year. But yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah, sure.
Is that Mets jersey you would buy would be a Brett Beatty jersey, just out of curiosity?
I will buy a Brett Beatty jersey if
Wow.
If Atlanta signs Trent Grisham, I will destroy every piece of Braves jerseys, hats, shirts, everything, and go buy a Brett Beatty jersey.
The good news is if Trent Grisham signs then and you become a Mets fan, it's going to make your Christmas gift a lot easier. So I'd actually be okay. I don't really have much in terms of Brave stuff. I do have lots of Mets stuff I can give as a gift. So maybe I got to be rooting for Trent Grisham to sign with the Braves. But,
I can't wait.
What a nightmare scenario that would be.
That's not a nightmare scenario. He's not a bad player. He's just Trent Grisham.
He's had one good season in his career.
He did to himself, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
And he was probably on PEDs, so like my luck, Atlanta.
Don't take him down to Jaxson Profar level.
If he was on PEDs, that makes him more likely. Because the Braves are like, you hate your girlfriend, we'll sign you. You're on PEDs, we'll sign you. So the fact that he's clean cut right now is actually the thing that's working against him signing with the Braves.
And the funny thing is, Ash is like, we're good on outfielders. Didn't three of us attend a Mets Braves game this year? Who played right field?
I couldn't even tell you.
Vidal Brujan.
Yes, it was.
Vidal Brujan was out there playing right. I was like, what the fuck is Vidal Brujan doing in right?
This season didn't exist. I'm telling you.
The Braves had a position player pitch, and I was still more shocked that Brujan was a right fielder.
Was it Luke Williams?
It was, and he was better than any other pitcher they put out there that game.
Yeah,
he actually pitched very well.
And then they cut him. They cut him with 3 weeks left in the season.
They did, and I remember sending him the MLB trade rumors thing because I was like, "How can the Braves do this to their best reliever?"
Yeah.
Hey, does anyone remember who started that game for the Braves?
I'm going to say it was Spencer Strider because
it was Spencer Strider,
who the Mets famously own. Yes, it was beautiful.
Because Spencer Strider.
Are we supposed to be talking about the Rangers right now?
We were talking about Pete Alonso and the fact that he. By the way, the Mets have opened up negotiations with Pete Alonso, and the early reports are staying on New York Sports Ash. The early reports are the fact that the Mets are saying this is a much more amicable discussion than it was a year ago. So maybe they're starting from a better starting place. But before we get away from hockey, I want to let Luke get charged up again and talk about the Rangers. So I'll run that back. Tell me why I should care about the Rangers as the other team in MSG. What's going on over there?
No, it's just it's exciting. They score. So they won 6-3 on Monday against the Predators. When they scored 6 goals on Monday, that was more goals than they had scored in any previous game they had on home ice this season. And then they scored 7 goals. They scored 7 goals tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I don't know. What was that?
So we're back.
I hope. I really hope. I hope they found a mix of offense and defense. You see sort of the usual suspects pitching in. You see Trocheck's back in the lineup. I saw Panarin had a couple points. I saw Panarin had 4 points last week. So it seems like they're figuring out. It seems like they're buying into Mike Sullivan's system. He's a vet coach with a lot of pedigree behind him. You knew that they were going to figure it out. It was just going to take time, and hopefully this is hopefully this is the turnaround for them. You have Igor Shesterkin in net, so you're going to get world class goaltending. And the Predators are pretty bad. Like, I know I talk about the Tennessee Titans, and I know we talked about getting the first overall pick. There is no chance that the Jets were going to get the first overall pick because the Titans suck. And I think the Predators might be just as bad as the Tennessee Titans right now.
Is Sarah saying that the Rangers are not good? Is that what I'm getting here?
I think so too. I think she's also saying that
is there a dissenting voice here? Like, should I not believe in the Rangers?
I think you should still believe in the Rangers. I mean, it's better than rooting for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like,
I don't think so. I love rooting for the Leafs. So.
Who would want to root for a Canadian hockey team? Like, why?
I love rooting for the Leafs. I think the Leafs are a great franchise. As a Mets fan, I understand the Leafs on a personal level. The Mets and the Leafs are pretty much the same thing. And so I understand this a lot.
The Mets and the Leafs are the same thing.
The Mets and the Leafs are the same thing.
They're not the same thing. I'm sorry. They're not.
Until one of them wins a chip, are the Mets and the Leafs not the same thing?
So then every team that's never won is also the Mets? Like,
no, it's the idea that they're likable underdogs who find a way to break my heart every time.
Right. And the Maple Leafs are not likable underdogs. Nobody, besides Maple Leafs fans, nobody likes the Maple Leafs.
Well, I mean, that can go for most teams, I think.
Do you think there's teams that are generally
let's be real for a second, right? Do you really think there are people out that are like, wow, we love the Mets that aren't people like us? No, do you really think anywhere in America there are people that are like
there are teams that are generally liked? Right now, the Colts are a very likable team.
I don't like
that's because people hate on New York and Daniel Jones is doing okay. So they're hoping that Daniel Jones does well.
I think it has more to do with their owners, but whatever. People like the Lions. People like the Lions.
People do like the Lions
because the Lions
like the Buffalo Bills.
Dan Campbell is
nobody likes the Buffalo.
People do not like the Buffalo Bills.
No, they don't like the Bills. But that
universally not like.
The Lions have arguably the most likable coach in the entirety of the NFL because he's a very relatable human being, and I enjoy his existence. Like I said this before on the pod, if I came into football bare and I just had to pick a team on vibes, I'd be a Dan Campbell guy. Like I want to run a mile for Dan Campbell. I can't imagine what his players feel like.
Yeah, I think in terms of likability, in terms of coaches, I think it's like Dan Campbell. And I know you guys aren't going to like this, but Mike Vrabel is like a close second. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced Mike Vrabel, but the guys love playing for him. Oh, yeah, no, Peter just hates that.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel's he played for the Patriots, so he's kind of discounted as like a guy that has any kind of worth to society. But
Mike Vrabel's a piece of shit.
God help me. But so, and I know you guys don't really do much in terms of the Islanders, right? But Ash was mentioning they're a point out of the wild card.
The Islanders are the Nets. Moving on.
Well, and you also have the Devils with one of the best records in the entire NHL right now. So the
Devils are lower than the Nets.
Three New York area teams are actually playing pretty well right now.
The only comment I'll make about that, I know this is going to be a knock against the Rangers right now. It's early in the season. I think the Rangers have actually played the most games in the NHL right now at 18. So they have games in hand. The other thing too is, they were at the bottom of the table at the start of last week, and now they're in a playoff spot. So that's good. It's good to see. So hopefully that becomes sustainable for them. But like I said, they've have too many games in hand to everybody else right now. So we'll see if everybody catches up, but if this is the turnaround they need, then great. And they just need to see that they're on the table to figure out that they're a good team, because they are a good team.
But so now here's my question to you from a hater's perspective out of amusement. Do the Rangers finish ahead of the Devils this season?
Like I said, I think I said this either last podcast or two podcasts ago. The Devils go with Jack Hughes, right? And if Jack Hughes is healthy and he can play 80, 82 games, great. They'll be fine, and they probably will finish either first or second in the Metro. But if Jack Hughes can't stay healthy, which has been the issues over the last couple of years, then no.
Goaltending.
Yeah, and goaltending. But you have such a prolific offense with Jack Hughes. And again, you can't run that team can't run a power play without
where have we thought about an NHL team that has explosive firepower on offense and no goaltending before? Like I've never heard of a team like that.
The Edmonton Oilers,
the Mighty Ducks. I think I watched that movie.
That was a good.
Mighty Ducks had great goaltending. What are you talking about?
No, Goldberg sucked. Everybody knew that.
Yeah,
Goldberg.
Yeah. Their goalie in like the original movie, Goldberg. What are we doing? What was his name? Goldberg.
Like Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know more.
Bill Goldberg did suck, and I'm glad that Oscar beat his streak. But in talking about power plays and talking about Pete Alonso, I want to swing back over this because I do want to spend our remaining time discussing baseball just because I like to. I mentioned the fact that Harper reported, I believe that, or it might have been Heyman that reported that the Mets have had a more amicable start to like their Pete Alonso conversation. None of that was due to Scott Boras, who decided to use ChatGPT today and start saying a lot of stupid things about the guys he was representing. Now, this was the exact quote by Boras on Pete Alonso to start the discussions. There's no doubt that Pete's pursuers are primed to pay the power piper. Pete picked a perfect period to play preeminently at a primary position. A playoff parched plethora will pounce to participate in the polar plunge. Fuck you, Boras. He also went ahead and he said that
for all of his players.
The Red Sox didn't want a Brexit in going on to talk about, I think, as Alex Bregman. And he also went on to talk about Tariq Skubal and make a whole bunch of Tigers and Cy Young puns. The point of the matter is that we're at the point where we're talking about baseball free agency and what's going on here between the guys. So the top news that concerns both teams of the New York variety is that the rumor right off the jump is that the Mets are interested in Cody Bellinger. Now, the talk coming off the season that the Mets had was that their big goals were going to be run prevention, shoring up that defense, kind of getting the fundamentals back together. There are some people predicting Kyle Schwarber as a Mets target. I don't see it that way because of that exact reason. I think that they're going to look after trying to get Pete Alonso back, and they're not going to look for a guy like Schwarber because they've got DHs. They've got guys that can hit the ball to some extent that they consider DHs. Bellinger makes sense as a target because of his defensive versatility. But I don't know, Peter. I can't necessarily wrap my hand around it where I'm sitting there saying, oh, yeah, Cody Bellinger, go get our guy. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like Cody Bellinger. I don't know if I like Cody Bellinger hitting in Citi Fields. Defensively, he's a solid guy. He's versatile. But there's a lot of questions of what you want to do defensively. I'm going to take David Stearns' word. That's what his major focus is on this year. So you pick the positions, you do that. For me, if that's what you want to do, you're probably going to try to get a new center and left fielder and have Brandon Nimmo be your DH because Nimmo defensively is not the player he was 2 years ago. He has no arm. His foot has been an issue for the better part of 2 years now. He can't really hack it there. So they did just tender a contract to Tyrone Taylor, who defensively is great. Offensively is not great. He's kind of the player that Ash thinks Trent Grisham is. But, Brett Beatty, it seems like he's going to be your guy at third base. That's what Stern said. Second base is a bit of a up in the air because McNeil has been the discussion of trade targets, even though he's ranked, I think, 8th in baseball and second baseman. And so we'll see what happens. And also we'll see what happens with Pete. He is not a good defender, but he's a first baseman. You can kind of get away with him not being a good defender. For me, the biggest offseason issue with the Mets is I think it's above signing Pete Alonso is Edwin Diaz. You cannot have a season with who you have on your bullpen now without Edwin Diaz. It would be a complete disaster, especially if the Mets don't get him. It's probably going to the Dodgers. So you cannot have that happen if you're the Mets.
Right, and there's going to be an interesting relief market this year because Devin Williams is free agent. There's already talk the Dodgers are interested. There has been a lot of predictions that Edwin Diaz could go to the Dodgers, in which case I will be looking for the business end of a cliff. But On lighter news here, Luke, I'll throw something towards you because I saw two names in the rumor mill that I thought would be of interest to you. One, because I know you personally, and one, because I like the name. So there was talk, for one, that Byron Buxton might be willing to remove his no-trade clause if the Twins continue to sell off the way they do, and that the Yankees might be interested. And on top of that, one that I found super interested that I want to pick your mind on is that Tatsuya Amai, who's being posted out of Japan, the Yankees are being reported as to be one of the bigger guys that could be going after him. Now, Amai is a 3-time NPB All-Star. He's 27 years old. He is a guy that I am particularly fond of. He's not necessarily on the Yamamoto level or, anything like that. And I'm sure we'll hear the same teams like Chicago, Toronto, the Mets that are showing interest, and, of course, the Dodgers, who are trying to aim for an all-Japanese team. But I do believe that the interest in Imai is legitimate, and it's announced that he should be, he's expected to be posted. So are these guys that you have any kind of super interest in coming over to the Yankees? I mean, Buxton's a polarizing player. When he's on, he is the man. And when he's not on, he's on the injured list for 60 days. But he also does provide elite defense, and he might be in a position where he can help cover for the outfield over there. So I'm going to turn it over to you for a bit. I mean, how do you feel about those guys? And if you think there's any heat to those rumors, or if it's just going to be something that goes by the boards?
Yeah, I don't think the Yankees are going to be hard pressed to bring back Cody Bellinger. He's approaching the wrong side of 30. Defensive metrics were great. Like Peter said, you have a ton of flexibility. Great eye. I think he was 91st percentile in strikeout rate this past season. But you look at the other underlying numbers for at bats: low exit velocity, low barrel rate. Great left-handed swing for Yankee Stadium. But is that someone you want to pay for the next 7 years? You just dealt with the divorce of DJ LeMahieu, who you paid oodles of money on a long-term deal after the age of 30. So do you really want to deal with those ramifications later on? I think Byron Buxton would be a better option in terms of contract-wise than Cody Bellinger. But like you said, very polarizing, especially with the injury history. But man, when he's playing, he plays at an MVP level, right? So I don't know if
27 games.
Right, for 27, right, for 27 games. But I don't know if getting him out of Minnesota maybe helps with the injury issues. We've talked about this on the other baseball podcasts. It seems like an epidemic in Minnesota, right? Like you go to Minnesota and you just somehow end up being hurt, right? Alex Kirilloff, you see, Correa had been hurt for time. Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez. There have been so many injuries out of Minnesota in the last few years. I don't know if there's just something that they're doing. I don't know if it's the cold weather, but maybe getting Byron Buxton out of Minnesota helps with that. So that would be interesting. Amai would be great. It would be a great addition to, like we said, a great rotation that the Yankees are bringing back next season. I think that's more of a nice to have for the Yankees. They need to shore up the outfield. And they need to shore up the back end of the bullpen. I wouldn't put too much focus on the rotation, but I would be very happy if they got MI, because you know how much I love bringing in Japanese players. And also him not going to the Dodgers, I feel like would be a win for everyone.
Yeah, I think MI would be a great signing for the Yankees. I am totally out on the Yankees going after Byron Buxton. This is a guy that he's not exactly getting younger, and I think that the number of aged veterans that the Yankees already have, they need to kind of look at a guy a little bit younger than that to bring into that team right now. And the one that I'm looking at, the Athletic put their list of most likely destinations for Kyle Tucker this offseason, and the Yankees were number 2 behind only the Dodgers. If Kyle Tucker goes to the Dodgers, we might as well just cancel the 2027 season right now. But Kyle Tucker to the Yankees makes a lot of sense in my mind. That left-handed bat, under 30, kind of that guy that could kind of take the mantle as the face of the franchise as Aaron Judge kind of winds down the last 3 or 4 years of his career. This is an elite bat and would inject a lot of life into that Yankee lineup.
So just one thing, Ram. On the Byron Buxton, you have him for the next 3 years at $15 million. I think that's a steal. I think that's an absolute steal for the Yankees payroll. And if he's hurt, fine. You eat the $15 million. You know the risk that you're taking, but you're not going to get that level of an outfielder for $15 million on the market. So I think it's absolutely worth the risk for contract rise. I think the difficulties with Kyle Tucker, and I would absolutely invite Kyle Tucker to the Bronx, bring him into pinstripes. I mean, he would be phenomenal with the short right field porch. But the problem with him is he has to play right field, right? So you shift Judge to center, and again, Judge has had his injury issues in the past. I don't know if that adds more wear and tear on Aaron Judge. I don't think Jason Dominguez can play center field. Maybe you bring back Trent Grisham and he plays center field, but again, now you're shifting Judge to what? Left field. You're relegating him to DH. That's Stanton's spot. You can't take it away from Stanton. I think it becomes a little bit of a jumble getting Kyle Tucker in here. Offensively, it would be a great move, but you just have such a giant shuffle in the outfield, and you're already stacked enough with Trent Grisham there.
If I can sign Kyle Tucker, I'm going to make it work. That's my thing.
Sure.
I mean, I think that's easy to say on paper, though, but I kind of agree with what Luke is saying there, where like the Yankees were plagued with a not so great defensive situation beforehand, and they don't even know who they've got running out at shortstop, right? If they can't figure out the infield and they can't figure out the
Anthony Volpe is going to run out at shortstop. Let's not kid ourselves.
That would be pretty bad, though.
It would be.
I'm not saying that's good, but that's the reality of it. Like there is no one else better in the market than Anthony Volpe, or at least giving
Hassan Kim. I would much rather have Hassan Kim.
Sure, Volpe's free agent. I mean, he's not going there, but I mean, he's in the market.
I don't think Bo Bichette is going to stick at shortstop much longer.
He's not already getting offers for second base and third base, but the Yankees do have the unique situation of being able to tell him he could take short if they brought him in. But I do think the Volpe question is going to be, especially with, I think they announced today, they said, we definitely see Ben Rice as a guy who's starting out there. You know, that DH situation is going to be a little clogged, perhaps in a good way, right? Because when Stanton's healthy, you know that I respect him. I think he's good. So if you've got DH set up and Dominguez is going to be in left, you don't really want to move Judge to center. Judge is not a center fielder. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just you can't, right? And Kyle Tucker is also not really going to play center. So you're going to be in a tough spot where you might need to have a contingency signing or the idea of signing like someone like Grisham to play, but then you're pushing somebody else out. So it might it sounds really cool because obviously Kyle Tucker is an elite player and it would be fun, but I do think the Yankees would be worried about that kind of stuff, about the idea of like whether or not, I don't think they're worried about whether they can afford him or give him a good contract or whether he'll produce, because as Luke alluded to too, the porch is probably a good thing for the way that he hits. It could all make sense, but defensively there's going to be some lapses. There have been some lapses, and if they can't even figure out the Volpe situation, or if y'all are right and that it's a matter of like, we're sending Volpe out there no matter what. I mean, you don't want black holes in center field and shortstop. Even if you're putting up 6 runs a game, there's going to be problems. So I don't know, you know.
What about Murakami to play third base? I know he's not very good defensively over at third, but
that's also another thing too.
Murakami's the guy that I would love Murakami. I would absolutely love Murakami.
The Yankees are interested in him too, but that's another guy that you could bring in, and then it's like, all right, cool, good bat, defensive liability. Like if they're going to go out there and go with good bat, defensive liabilities, I mean, we've seen that with teams before, and the newsflash is it just doesn't work, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees already played that dance with Josh Donaldson,
right? We played that
game. They do have Ryan McMahon there, who in late innings you can sub him out, but
right.
I remember Josh Johnson, bringer of rain. I like that guy. But
one-time MVP.
There you go. That's the man. But we'll see. I mean, Peter, you talked before about the idea that it's all kind of smoke and mirrors until the winter meetings, and I happen to agree with you on that. I know we're going to be talking about this a lot as the weeks come up, but at the end of the day, we're all just having fun putting out content and predicting stuff until some actual fire gets lit here. And we're not going to see anything much yet. I mean, Scott Boras is trying to do his best to make things exciting, but that's where we are. But at the very least, there will be stuff to talk about. We're going to have a lot of fun covering them in coming weeks. The winter meetings are in about a month or so, right? I mean, maybe like 3 weeks. Yep. Right. So, and usually something starts getting done around then. We're going to start seeing some actual signings and we'll figure some things out from there. But on that, I mean, we've hit about an hour of us talking about our beautiful New York sports. I mean, we can start wrapping up with some final takes. I'm going to bring up something that I didn't get to cover before with the Knicks as a final take. Normally, I like to make a joke, but I did catch word that Brunson left MSG in a walking boot and crutches. There's no official report from the team on the injury, but Mike Brown said that he rolled his right ankle. God, I hope it's just that, because if Brunson's out for any extended period of time, the Knicks will be fine, but every nice thing I said about them kind of goes to shit. So I'm just hoping for the health of Jalen Brunson. He's done so much for New York and what's going on with the Knicks right now, so please to God, don't get hurt. And if you want my ankle, you can have it. It's not in very good condition, but, please, I'll donate an ankle anytime to Jalen Brunson. Anyway, Peter, what do you got for us?
So my final take is simply, there's a lot of Mets fans that are anti-David Stearns, and I think it's very silly, and I think it's very stupid. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. Let him cook. It seems like every time the Mets make a big signing, like when they re-signed Pete and they signed Juan Soto, those were Steve Cohen signings. Nobody gives David Stearns any credit. But like when it's these pitchers that, like before Griffin Canning got hurt, he looked really good. Like, let's just let David Stearns cook, guys. It'll be fine.
Yeah, good. Ash, what do you got for us on final takes?
Yeah, so college basketball has tipped off, and over the weekend we had St. John's hosting Alabama in Madison Square Garden. One of the biggest early season matchups that we've had. Unfortunately, the Johnnies were not able to hold off the Crimson Tide and dropped that matchup. But I think that there were some encouraging signs with that game. One, the St. John's at times last year struggled to score. So the fact that they were able to put up 96 points in that game was encouraging to me. And we know that a Rick Pitino team is going to play good defense by the end of the year. So as long as that offense can continue to hum, I mean, Zuby looked great out there for St. John's, Bryce Hopkins, Osiah Sellers. I really liked what they had going on offensively against Alabama, one of the best teams in the country. So I think that when all is said and done, you're going to have one of the St. John's sitting as one of those top 10 teams in the country and competitive at the very top of the Big East. So despite the loss, I think there was some encouraging signs, and I can't wait. We've got about 2 weeks to go until they play their next tough test, and that's in a game against Iowa State on the 24th, I believe, so 12 days from today. So that'll be a great one to look forward to, and I can't wait to see St. John's in their next game against Iowa State because that should be a good test as well, and seeing how the season plays out. Speaking of Rick Pitino, I got to rep my alma mater. So Rick's former stop, my Cardinals, took out the Kentucky Wildcats last night. So we've always got to celebrate those wins. So college basketball is here and in force, guys.
There you go. Let's go, Johnny's. Luke, send us home.
A couple shout outs just on the NCAA basketball. Shout out to the Seton Hall Pirates, who are 3-0 right now. Big wins against, wait for it, Fairfield, Wagner, and St. Peter's. Just huge wins. Great non-conference schedule this year, and we're just rolling. We're off to a great start, 3-0. Just great job by the Pirates there.
Second State on the 24th. That'll actually be
that'll be a good one. That one's out in Maui.
As NC State looking good, I think. So
that'll be a good one. Shout out to Ole Miss, number 7 in the country in college football right now, locking in on a playoff spot right now.
What's college football? Is Ryan Hart still out there playing quarterback? I mean,
no, it's Trinidad Chambliss playing quarterback for Ole Miss. And he's lighting it up right now. So Ole Miss is looking great. It's making me happy. And last but not least, I know we said this earlier, but I do want to give a shout out to Ram. Happy birthday, buddy. Ram, you're a beautiful man. I hope you had a great birthday. I hope you had a great time at the karaoke bar. And happy birthday, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to join you all weekly and have a little fun and blow off some steam. It's something I look forward to on a regular basis, and I hope you all never forget that. And on that note, too, to everyone who's out there listening, I appreciate you for tuning in. Even the bots that took their time to stop by today and comment, I appreciate you. I know you don't have feelings, but thank you for stopping in. Yeah. As always, thebestdamnsports.com. You can find your way to subscribe to us there. It'll lead you to our YouTube. We have a Twitter. We find us there. We're more than happy to take any kind of suggestions for content that you want to see. And always happy to have your commentary and your viewership. Thank you so much for taking some time with us. We hope you have a good rest of the night. We will see you yet again next week where we do this one more time. Thank you and have a good night.